The third medicine I would like to discuss is staphysagria. Now, here the depression is of a separate kind. Here it is not so much of a depression, but from some sort of suppressed insult in the background. Whenever a person is always blaming themselves about the fault which has been done by someone else, it is a depression, it is a grief that they have received, but not because their emotions have been hurt, but because their self-respect has been hurt. In these cases, the person is always blaming themselves of even when they don't have fault in something. They have always got this feeling that this insult, they cannot digest it properly, and in many cases it develops into some sort of pathological diseases which might be severe in kind as well. In staphysagria, we all often learn that when he gets insulted, he goes home and becomes sick. Similarly, there are a few symptoms of staphysagria which when we see in a patient, we can trace out again backside retrospectively about what has happened. As we know, staphysagria has got an explosive anger. He generally, when angry, a staphysagria patient might throw things from his hand, or there's another part of anger in staphysagria that he might leave the place. There's escapism in the patient. So with staphysagria also we can trace out what has been in the mental picture in the background. One of the leading remedies which follows staphysagria often and is most complementary to it is causticum. Causticum is again a very good remedy for depression, but it is of a chronic kind. Causticum patients have undergone certain mental trauma in their past, and in the present scenario don't have such they don't express any emotions in them, but they are very much emotional in nature, and they are very much sympathetic and kind. They are the most of the people who are mostly taken advantage of in life. Their extreme kindness have always lead them to certain problems. Causticum mentality is basically a mixture. It has got so much kindness and sympathy in them, but they have got from this we can understand from a general psychological view. Often we know that the people who have suffered the most are become most of the kindest in nature. Causticum is that only. We have often learned in causticum who has suffered through a chronic disease and never been able to get out of it. This is causticum for you. They are extreme sympathetic is one of them. They are very much, they like animals fiercely. They love animals. This is one of the very good examples of symptoms of causticum. The next remedy I am going to talk about is lachesis. Now, grief can turn us in both ways. For some people, grief can make them more kind and more sympathetic, and for others, like lachesis personality, it can turn them into very jealous people who can't stand others' happiness, who have been turned around by a certain event in life and could not return properly. They are very religious in nature and often very much jealous. The next medicine we would like to talk about is the extreme form of depression, where a person generally thinks of committing suicide. The suicidal remedies. One of the main remedy which comes up to us is aurum group of medicines. Yes, gold. The medicines which have been prepared from gold and salts of gold. Often, aurum mate is one of the leading remedies for suicidal tendencies for people who have got suicidal impulse. But aurum mate is not always indicated as a whole. In certain cases, we need to address the situation with salts of aurum. It might be aurum ars when the person is chilly, when the person has got much anxiety like that of arsenic. It can be aurum iode when the person is lean, thin, hot patient and very much hungry at all the time. It can be aurum mure when it has got nature of muriatic group, that is, it is severely constipated. It can be, you can compare the picture of natrum mure and add aurum with it, muriatic group mainly. And when you add the picture of natrum mure with aurum, it gives us aurum mure natronatum, which is an excellent remedy in many of the pathological cases where there has been extreme grief in the background and the person has got suicidal tendencies. Now, generally what I would like to emphasize here in aurum group of patient is that they are never going to tell you, or even by seeing them, you are never going to understand that they are capable of having this kind of impulses for suicide. So how to detect that? Mostly in patients of aurum group, you are going to see that they are extremely jolly. They have a jolly appearance. They are constantly laughing in whatever they talk. They are always constantly smiling while answering your questions. Though this is a very good thing, but at certain times it is also something fishy. You need to smell this at the beginning of a case itself. Aurum personality's desire for black, desire for darkness. When a patient, whenever in normal human beings, we are always wanting light. Not during sleep, but during our activity, we always require light. For thinking also, we require light. But aurum group of patients require darkness. They want darkness. whenever you get a person who desires for darkness, just think of aurum group of medicines. And again, they desire black clothes, and they are, by seeing them, it is very much impossible to find out that they had certain sort of impulses, because even so, when you are examining them, if you are examining their pulse also, they are not going to give you a wrist in which they have attempted anything. They are going to give you an opposite wrist, and it is very difficult to find out who are aurum patients, because they are extremely secretive in nature. And also, there's another good feature of aurum metallicum is hypertension. Wherever there is destructive pathology running in the body, which is destructive in nature, and there's a syphil, means suicidal tendency, you can think of aurum met.